Today I'm joined by Vince Orieux, the head coach of the Holy Rosary Raiders football team. He's here today to talk about their year as a whole, and thank you so much for being with me today, Vince, and for letting me come out to all of your games and cover your team throughout this whole year.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, and we appreciate the coverage throughout the year.
All right, Vince, so let's start at the beginning of of 2023. You guys were coming off of winning your first Alberta Bowl. You guys were unsuccessful the year before, but made it all the way there. Won the provincial championship. Of course, you guys had a bunch of guys moving on. So talk to me about the training camp between like January and into the spring and summer there, and just preparing the team for this coming up, for the season that you guys had this past few months here.
Right. So I mean, it's difficult to work throughout the winter. There are high school athletic rules that limit when you can actually be with your team. So May 1st is actually when we can start working with kids. So we ran about a month-long spring camp and had a jamboree just to kind of see, where our kids were at and where we had to focus some attention. Then you give them the summer off and you come back. August 16th is the first official day we can start. And we liked our group. We knew that we didn't have a lot of grade 12s, but we knew that we were going to be grade 11 heavy with a lot of athletes. And we started the season really well. We had some tough exhibition games, and kids learned a lot in those, and it carried us through into our league play.
And so let's talk about the Wheatland Football League. You guys are coming in as the champions of the league. And I know that at the end it wasn't the greatest finish, but just overall, the regular season, talk to me about that, and then the playoffs and how the team performed in a very competitive league here, as there's lots of great teams in the Lakeland area.
Yeah, so I mean, the month of September was good for us. We won our first two league games against Cold Lake and St. Paul. Then we went into October, played Bonnyville a couple of times and Wainwright and had a bye. Wasn't the toughest schedule, and I think that actually hurt us going into November into our league playoffs. We had some 50-0 blowouts, and just doesn't do a lot to keep the kids motivated. So, taking us into the league final against a tough St. Paul team, and we had beat them 50-3 the first time we played them. So it was hard to get the kids focused and get them to believe that St. Paul was going to be a legitimate opponent in the league final. They came in really well prepared, and we had a hard time moving the ball. And at the end of the day, we didn't win that football game, but we learned a lot in that game.
And so with coming out of the league finals, not with the championship, but being able to make provincials and still being able to play football, you were able to talk to me about rallying the team and being able to compete very well at the Tier 3 provincials, as of course you guys had an excellent run during the provincials this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good group, and they're a fairly motivated group, and after losing the league final, they wanted to prove to people that, that's not the team that they were. They were a championship team. So we went into provincials, played Whitecourt team, and handled them pretty easily, 64-0. And then we went into our Drawson, and our Drawson was a Tier 4 team playing in Division 3 in Edmonton, but they chose to opt up to Tier 3 to play us rather than going up north to play Sexsmith. So we were able to use that a bit as a motivator for our kids, saying, these guys picked you. They thought you were the easiest path to provincial final, and our kids. They wanted to prove them wrong, and so we were able to beat that team. I think it was 36-0. Wasn't the easiest game we had all year, but our kids were really well prepared and able to shut down anything they tried to throw at us. And then, of course, going into provincial final, playing a Cardston team, we knew they were going to be tough, very athletic. The interesting thing with that is Cardston's got a long history of being competitive. They've got lots of provincial championships, and they're always in the mix. So to beat a legitimate team in the province with a strong history is a big step for our program.
And one really great thing about your guys' program, and of course you've been to the Alberta Bowl finals 3 years in a row here, got 2 championships, and you mentioned that your team was very grade 11 heavy. So coming up this season, talk to me about the excitement for you and the coaching staff and all the players that are going to be around once that training camp comes in this upcoming 2024 May, about how good this team could be for your possibly 4th run here and an excellent program here.
Yeah, I mean, we like the kids coming back, and we look at around the Bantam teams, and we see that there's some solid athletes there. We're excited to get a few of those kids. Our team's got a strong history of being in the final. This is actually our 10th year in a row being in provincial final. We've won 3. We've lost some close ones, 1 blowout, maybe 2 along the way, but those are all learning experiences. So we just want to keep that tradition going and keep playing with excellence and strive our kids to be the best football players they can be and come together as a team. So we have a lot of grade 11s moving into grade 12 next year, so we'll have a lot of senior players. It'll be a good mix of experience and youth, and I think we'll be strong again.
And one other thing that your program has been showing, at least throughout these past few years, is that some of your really great grade 12s have gone on to play some post-secondary football. So I know we're plenty early and those kids need to finish up high school here, but just some of those kids that have at least been questioned, whether it's the teams in Edmonton or Saskatoon or any of the universities that have been looking and maybe giving them some calls so far here to finish out after the season.
So because it is a fairly small grade 12 group, we're only graduating 7. I think there's 3 or 4 that have aspirations of going on playing post-secondary football. So there's opportunities in Saskatoon and in Edmonton, like you say, some junior teams and university programs. And they'd be lucky to have the kids that are interested in moving on.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Vince, and congratulations to you guys once again on another kind of fantastic Alberta Bowl win. And we will definitely be covering you once you guys start up the spring training in May. And of course, we'll have lots more Holy Rosary football throughout the rest of next year in 2024.